weeks. This motion is on the need to urgently investigate the governing list of federal government-owned assets. The House notes the need to plug revenue leakages and enhance the revenue of government. The House is aware of the dwindling revenue generation from oil that the federal government of Nigeria is planning to sell off some of its assets and concession other assets to enable it raise funds for budget implementation. The House is worried that issues bordering on lease of federal government assets may be compromised where there is no proper oversight. The House is convinced that there is an urgent need to review all leases of federal government assets with a view to expunging all sale provisions and enacting new ones in line with current state of affairs to be determined by market forces. The House is also convinced that the exercise would help the federal government remove loss of revenues in hands of few individuals ripping off the system. The House resolves to set up an ad hoc committee of the House to review all related leasing and concession of federal government assets and report back to the House within 6 weeks for further legislative action. I so move.
Thank you, Honorable again.
And I represent the good people of Anyocho Federal Constituency and from Delta State. I rise to second this motion.
I'm Daniel Abiodun Johnson. I represent the good people of Oshodi, Isolo, Federal Constituency 2. I rise to amend as follows. That the House resolves to include additional new members in view of the additional new scope of work for this committee on abandoned federal government properties and assets. The reason being that yesterday there was a motion on abandoned bridge works, and I believe that more of such will crop up, and sincerely speaking, we need to inject more people so that we can deliver goods on time. Thank you very much, sir.
Honorable, distinct from the earlier one that was set up, which is ongoing, and even that of yesterday. So this is quite distinct, and there is no conflict. It should be independent.
Which one was the one of yesterday?
Okay.
Projects and properties. Abandoned projects and abandoned properties, and the ad hoc chairman, Honorable Kuye, and the deputy minority leader sat down and looked at it, and the areas that he had some reservation was on the issue of Tafa Balewa Square and another place again, but it has no relationship whatsoever, and it has been deleted from the motion.
Is Honorable Kuya here? It's gone. So I think Honorable Kuya and Honorable Toby had worked on that, and they realized that they're separate. So I don't know, in view of that, Engineer John said, so Honorable Kuya, before he left, I think he worked on this motion with, and he said there are two separate motions. So do you still want to take your amendment, or do you want to step it down?
Mr. Speaker, sir. No, all we are saying here is that, we should include, I know there is an existing ad hoc committee on abandoned projects. You know, I'm aware of that. So what I'm saying, is that they should probably include more people to the existing committee. That's all.
Yes, and I think what they're saying is, and they sat together, and Honorable Kuye said it's different from the abandoned.
No, I'm not saying the ad hoc, yes, I mean the...
Hold on, huh?
No, there are two...
Go on.
Okay. See, what I'm saying, sir, is that the first one, yes, they should step that down, but they should now, the existing ad hoc committee, should be expanded, that's all, by including more people. Instead of creating new one, that's all. Thank you, sir.
Oguns has an ad hoc committee that is on issue of tank farm, abandoned tank farm and co on. Honorable Kuye's own is on abandoned properties. But yesterday, we added abandoned projects to his own. Now, this motion is totally different. It's talking about leasing, not on abandoned projects. So they are totally different issues. And Honorable Kuye came, both of them sat down, looked at the body of the motion, and they both agreed that truly there are two different issues. But he himself also, because yesterday he tried to make an amendment for them to increase the number of members on Honorable Kuye's own, but it was not taken because he had already put the question. And perhaps that is what he's trying to amend on that one.
Okay, Honorable Isiaka.
Just have a little concern here. Isiaka Ibrahim Ayokunle. This calling for this ad hoc committee here and there, instead of this expansion as espoused by Honorable Johnson, the ad hoc committees will end up calling the same set of people. If we have ad committee 1, 2, 3, we will now be addressing the same set of people at different times. I see it as more or less duplication of the efforts of this National Assembly. So if we can harmonize, consolidate, and then have more people on board on the same committee, they will share themselves into subcommittees within the ad hoc, and then they do the job together. That's my own honest opinion and suggestion, Mr. Speaker, sir. Because we'll end up calling one agency almost 10 times by different committees. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Speaker, when you look at the two motions, they are not the same. This one is talking about abandoned projects. And this one is talking about concessions and sale of assets to generate more revenue for the federal government. So there are two separate motions. I think Honorable Toby, our Deputy Minority Leader, is in order. And by Mr. Speaker, I will beg our colleagues to allow this motion to pass so that it will have its ad hoc committee. Thank you.
At the Parliament, ad hoc committees most of the times might just take 1 or 2, 3 sittings to finish their jobs. So if we have an existing one, that's what we say, we can always expand, because if we continue going this way, most of the time we end up creating more committees even than the problems we are solving. So I believe we have anything on property should work together. It can be expanded, create subcommittee so that when the job of the subcommittee ends, that one can just stop so that the main committee will still be there. There will still be more motions on properties. There will still be more motions. So every time another issue of property comes, we set up another ad hoc committee. So please, I believe we should just expand what we have on ground, as suggested by Honorable Johnson, so that we move forward. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Stepping down your amendment, or is it being seconded? Because I have to follow procedure. Are you stepping it down, or is it being... You are not. Any seconder? Honorable Alice. Those against, please say nay. Okay, we'll take it again. Those in support of the amendment, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say nay. So the amendment is to expand and include new members of this. I haven't hit the gavel yet. Somebody was saying something. Yeah, Honorable. This is going against procedure. I'm actually supposed to put the question and hit the gavel, but I want us to be sure and clear on this. Sorry.
Uchichukwu Namubi, and I represent the good people of Ahodi West and Oba Ibema Tony Federal Constituency. I'm from Rivers State. Mr. Speaker, no, the question has not been put. Sorry, and I have his protection. Thank you. I have a privilege to also add my view. Sorry. Now, what I'm just trying to say, Mr. Speaker, is to support Honorable Toby's motion. Reason being that this is not novel for us not to have, a standing committee and another committee. This is just supposed to address a particular issue. So we would not follow the way of sentiment or what certain chairmen who have committees who do not want, excuse me, Honorable. Now, the point I'm trying to make, Mr. Speaker, is that there is nothing wrong in having such committees to address particular issues for expediency and time. So we would not say, oh, because we have other committees, therefore this order should not be in place. So I pray that our colleagues should just allow this to go. It is normal, it's parliamentary practice. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Simplicity of committees doing the same thing. But I don't think my advice is this. Rather than, we'll put the question, but rather than hit the gavel, I think let us tarry a while till Monday. Let Honorable Kuye, who is actually chairing the ad hoc committee, come and explain to us whether this is the same thing or it's not the same matter. I would not like, and it would not be good for this house, like he rightly pointed out, for us to call this person today, and that person will call the person the next day on the same matter. But it may be a different matter. That's what we need to clarify. And the only person that can clarify this, two people. The chairman of the ad hoc committee, Honorable Kuye, and chairman business. Chairman business, please, get together with Honorable Kuye, Honorable Toby, and yourself, and let's see if these things are the same in material on Monday. And then we'll make it, because if we put the question now, it's clear that the pendulum is one way, and I don't want to go against. So I'll advise, just for us to be safe and not make the wrong decision, let's wait till Monday. Thank you.